Alright, so let's be honest, flying characters in Marvel Rivals can be downright annoying. You're lining up your shots, holding your ground, and suddenly some hero is soaring above your head, raining damage while you're stuck craning your neck like you're watching fireworks. And with the roster constantly growing, it's only a matter of time before we see full flying squads dominating matches, forcing everyone else to play catch-up from the ground. But don't worry, you don't have to let those high-flying troublemakers ruin your fun. In this video, we're breaking down the absolute best counters to flying characters in Marvel Rivals. These are the heroes that will keep you grounded in the fight, literally, by making sure those pesky flyers think twice before taking to the skies. Stick around, because if you want to stay ahead of the meta and shut down aerial threats, this is the guide you need. I'm quickly
Very
moving
small
on to
portion
the
of
video.
the audience
Before we
is subscribed to
start,
the
if you
channel.
enjoy these types of list
Please
videos,
don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos.
Enjoy watching.
Thanks.
Scarlet Witch is one of the easiest yet most effective answers to flying characters in Marvel Rivals. Unlike other duelists who need precise aim or clever positioning, her kit is designed to lock onto targets and drain them without much effort. Chaos Control, her primary attack, automatically tracks the nearest enemy, meaning flying heroes lose their biggest advantage, mobility. Instead of dancing around in the air and dodging shots, they are slowly drained of their life force as Scarlet Witch keeps the pressure going. What makes her even more dangerous is the way she can mix in abilities while Chaos Control is doing the work. Chthonian Burst lets her launch high damage orbs to punish opponents who might think they are out of reach. These extra hits can quickly finish off enemies who are already weakened by her life drain, and because she does not need to focus on aiming her main attack, she can weave abilities into her offense without losing pressure. Flying opponents often realize too late that they are stuck in a trap they cannot escape. On top of all that, Mystic Projection gives Scarlet Witch an incredible safety net. When enemies try to retreat or soar out of range, she can follow them directly, becoming immune to damage while still hunting them down. It turns her into a relentless pursuer who never lets a target off the hook. With her low difficulty and extremely strong tracking, Scarlet Witch is the perfect counterpick if you are tired of flying characters controlling the pace of the fight. Luna Snow is easily one of the most underrated strategist characters you can bring into a match when it comes to shutting down those annoying flying heroes. A lot of players underestimate her, but the truth is, she brings a mix of damage and support that makes her a nightmare to deal with. Her light and dark ice abilities are not just flashy effects, they allow her to pump out healing while still keeping pressure on enemies. That balance between offense and defense makes her stand out compared to other supports who can feel a little one-dimensional. One of her biggest strengths is her tracking attacks. Flying characters usually rely on staying out of reach, circling above and forcing opponents to waste time aiming up. But Luna Snow does not really care about that. Her tracking hits lock on and her absolute zero blasts make it almost impossible for flying heroes to comfortably hover around. Even from a distance, she can chip away at them while keeping her team safe with steady healing. It feels like she is constantly reminding enemies that the sky is not as safe as they think. And let's not forget about her ultimate ability. When activated, it basically turns her into a healing machine that keeps her whole team alive even in the toughest fights. At the same time, she is still able to deal meaningful damage, which is rare for a support-focused character. Whether it is freezing enemies out of the air or sustaining the team through a long fight, Luna Snow brings way too much value to ignore. If you are tired of looking up and chasing flying opponents all match, she is one of the best picks to keep them grounded while keeping your allies in the game. The Punisher might not have flashy powers like some of the other heroes in Marvel Rivals, but sometimes simple is exactly what you need, especially when dealing with flying enemies. His kit is straightforward, making him one of the easiest characters to pick up and play effectively. With a mix of raw firepower and turret support, the Punisher thrives in situations where you need to hold a line and make sure those airborne opponents never slip through. His main tools are the Adjudication Assault Rifle and the Deliverance Shotgun, which give him flexibility at both long and close range. Against flying characters, the Assault Rifle is the star of the show. It lets you unload a stream of bullets into the air, and even if your accuracy is not perfect, the sheer volume of fire usually does the trick. Combine that with smart positioning and you will quickly see why his kit works so well against evasive aerial heroes who normally rely on dodging to survive. Then there is the Culling Turret, which adds a whole other layer of pressure. By setting it up in a safe spot, the Punisher essentially creates a no-fly zone. making it nearly impossible for airborne enemies to get by without taking heavy damage. While his gameplay loop may feel repetitive, point, shoot, and keep spraying, it is effective and reliable. Sometimes that is all you need: consistent damage, strong zone control, and a steady hand to punish anything that tries to fly overhead. Black Widow might not be the most popular pick in Marvel Rivals, but when it comes to clipping the wings of flying enemies, she can be absolutely lethal. Her playstyle is high risk, high reward, meaning she is not the type of hero you want running around on the front lines. Instead, she shines when she positions herself carefully behind her team, watching the skies and waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. With her precision and patience, Black Widow can make life incredibly difficult for those aerial heroes who rely on freedom of movement. Her main weapon, the Red Room rifle, is tailor-made for this job. Flying enemies often think they are safe at a distance, weaving and gliding around the battlefield, but with Widow's sharp aim, a single accurate headshot can be enough to end their flight early. It is not about spraying bullets or locking on. It is about taking that one decisive shot that reminds enemies just how dangerous she is when ignored. The rifle rewards accuracy and punishes anyone who underestimates her presence on the map. The challenge, of course, comes with her survivability. Black Widow does not have much in the way of tools to escape once she is caught, so if enemies close the gap, she is in serious trouble. That means positioning is everything. For players who are confident in their aim and smart about staying in cover, she becomes a devastating counter to flying heroes. While she may never dominate the meta due to her weaknesses, the satisfaction of dropping an enemy out of the sky with a clean shot makes her an invaluable specialist in the right hands. Hawkeye is the kind of hero that rewards precision and patience, making him a fantastic pick against flying enemies in Marvel Rivals. His piercing arrows give him the perfect blend of power and accuracy, allowing skilled players to deal devastating damage when they land a critical shot. Unlike some other heroes who rely on automatic tracking or sheer bullet volume, Hawkeye demands good aim, but the payoff is worth it. For those willing to master his bow, airborne opponents suddenly become very vulnerable targets. What makes Hawkeye stand out is his versatility. His quiver is stocked with different arrow types, giving him tools for just about any situation. Whether it is straight damage, utility, or control, he has the flexibility to adapt mid-fight. The Skyward Leap ability also gives him mobility that is crucial in duels with flying characters. By quickly gaining elevation, Hawkeye can line up cleaner shots and maintain sightlines that keep enemies from slipping away, ensuring that even aerial heroes cannot escape his gaze. And then there are the team synergies, particularly with Lunar Snow. When Hawkeye uses his ice arrow in coordination with her freezing abilities, flying enemies are practically sitting ducks. Once frozen midair, they are easy pickings for Hawkeye or any of his teammates to finish off. It is a deadly combo that highlights just how effective he can be in a well-coordinated team. Hawkeye might require more skill than most duelists, but in the right hands, he turns the skies into a hunting ground. Healer brings a terrifying mix of power and independence to Marvel Rivals, making her a strong choice when it comes to shutting down flying enemies. As the goddess of death, she leans on her Night Sword Thorns to dish out consistent pressure. These spectral blades have solid range and tracking, meaning players do not need pinpoint aim to land hits on those hard-to-reach aerial opponents. Flying heroes that rely on weaving around the skies quickly learn that Healer's swords are relentless, sticking to them no matter how high or far they try to run. What really sets Healer apart is that she does not need to rely heavily on teammates to get the job done. Abilities like Soul Drainer and Astral Flock give her the survivability to stay alive even when she is caught out in the open. Soul Drainer in particular helps her sustain herself mid-fight, letting her keep pressure on enemies while maintaining her own health pool. Astral Flock adds mobility and disruption, making her a difficult target to pin down while she continues to threaten opponents in the air. This self-sufficiency makes Hela a fantastic duelist against flying characters. While some heroes need to sit in the backline and wait for an opening, Healer has the freedom to move across the battlefield and create her own opportunities. She can push forward aggressively or hold her ground, all while keeping constant pressure on airborne foes. With her tracking blades, survivability, and independence, Healer turns the skies into yet another domain of death where even flying heroes cannot escape her reach. Iron Fist has always been a frustrating hero to deal with, and now he has carved out a new role as one of the best counters to flying characters in Marvel Rivals. His close-range brawling style means that once he gets in, it is nearly impossible for enemies to shake him off. His punches stick to targets like glue, requiring little precision as players unleash a flurry of fists and kicks that keep pressure on airborne opponents. Even when flying heroes try to retreat, Iron Fist is right there with them, making sure they never feel safe in the skies. A big part of what makes Iron Fist so effective against aerial enemies is his mobility. With Crane Leap, he can quickly close the distance, launching himself straight into opponents who thought they had escaped by taking to the air. Once he is in range, it becomes a non-stop beatdown, and there is not much flying characters can do to avoid it. The relentless pressure he provides makes him one of the few melee heroes who can truly keep up with fast-moving, evasive targets above the ground. On top of his mobility and raw pressure, Iron Fist also has excellent survivability tools. Harmony Recovery and Dragon's Defense give him both healing and resilience, allowing him to outlast opponents in extended fights. This combination ensures that he is never down for long and can keep chaining his relentless attacks. The end result? Flying heroes are either forced to fight him directly, usually a losing battle, or drop back down to the ground where Iron Fist's fists of fury are waiting to finish them off. Namor might rule the oceans, but in Marvel Rivals, he proves that he can lock down the skies too. Even though he cannot fly in-game like he does in the comics, that does not stop him from being one of the strongest answers to airborne enemies. His kit is all about control and punishing enemies who try to dance around above the fight. When those flying characters think they are safe, Namor's ranged attacks quickly remind them that nowhere is truly out of reach. The Trident of Neptune is where his damage really shines. Being able to throw it for long-range hits means Namor can consistently pressure flying heroes, and when those critical strikes land, they hit like a truck. Pair that with his Aquatic Dominion ability, which summons octopuses to unleash devastating beams, and suddenly Namor is locking down entire zones. It is not just about raw damage, it is the constant threat of his zoning tools that forces flying opponents to think twice before making their next move. What makes Namor even scarier is his synergy with other heroes. Combining his abilities with someone like Hulk's Gamma Monstro creates a lethal combo that wipes out enemies no matter how high they try to fly. His mix of zoning, range power, and teamwork potential makes him a nightmare for flying characters who rely on freedom of movement to stay alive. With Namor holding the line, the skies are no longer safe for anyone trying to outmaneuver your team. Spider-Man is one of the most technical heroes in Marvel Rivals, but when mastered, he becomes an absolute nightmare for flying characters. His playstyle is all about mobility and timing, using his web swing to stay airborne while weaving attacks into smooth combos. Flying heroes usually rely on their ability to stay out of reach, but Spider-Man completely flips that dynamic, sticking to them no matter how high they go. For opponents, it feels less like a fight and more like being hunted down by a relentless webhead. The key to his effectiveness lies in his mix of crowd control and constant pressure. Abilities like Get Over Here pull enemies into range, while Web Cluster spreads damage across evasive targets trying to escape. Together, these moves create a web of danger that forces flying heroes to think twice about hovering in the air. Instead of using their mobility to dictate the fight, they are constantly pushed back and grounded by Spider-Man's toolkit, giving his team the upper hand. Of course, his high skill ceiling means Spider-Man takes practice. Players need to master his combos, his movement, and the rhythm of swinging in and out of fights. But once that skill is unlocked, he becomes one of the most oppressive duelists in the game. Not only does he keep flying the heroes locked down, but his ability to harass, disrupt, and create openings makes him invaluable to any team. Flying enemies might laugh at other counters, but against a skilled Spider-Man, they will be forced to retreat, and fast. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.